Hey guys, welcome to the Jen Lowry Wright channel. We are live and this is after an all-day event. So we are hosting in pajamas tonight. I tried to get Sam to pop on in here. He's right over there. Um, we just finished our first book signing as a family, and I want to say it was very rewarding. I loved it. I'm extremely tired. I'm with Mountain Dew right now, and it's late. I probably could have another cup of coffee. So I wanted to share with you about things that I took with me on the event, and I wanted to challenge you to consider some of these things that maybe can make your life easier at your next event. And I wanted to do a live because if anybody's out there and they've done book signings and they want to comment and say, oh, you forgot this important thing, I wanted us to kind of do this together. So if anybody catches this video later, just go ahead and drop comments about book experiences that you've had, book signings that you've had in the past, because it's important for me to kind of just vlog this whole experience, because if I don't, I'm going to forget, honestly. So first, here's the book. I'm going to tell you why I put a rubber band around this copy, because this is my personal copy. And of course, I could have stickied it. So make sure you get some of these little stickies. I'm going to tell you how important it is. Because you see, I did not have time. I did not sticky anything. So this book, when it came in the shipment, it had a bend in it. It was already in there like that. And so when I was taking the books out and kind of doing like a quality check, this is what it looked like. So I knew I couldn't sell that. You can't sell that. So the book that Sam grabbed for his own personal copy was a pristine, perfect looking copy. We put that one back because he just ran and put it on his shelf beside The Hobbit, our favorite book. So this book now is Sam's and my personal copy when we go around. So that's why it has a rubber band on it. To remind myself, don't accidentally pack this or stack this up and sell this to somebody, because that is just not good business practice. And with my kids around and my husband there to help me like packaging everything and boxing things up, they may not see this. They might not recognize it if I just had it laying up, because it looks perfect, from the front. So if I just had it sitting up, they wouldn't have known, and maybe they would have grabbed it and put it back in the box or something like that. So I have done this. I'm sure there's ways we can also mark it. But I also have this thing for rubber bands, and I wear them and I twirl them because I'm weird. I have a whole bag of rubber bands on my desk when I write. I'm going to tell you the reason why you need to mark places in your book. Okay, so I have picked me up some of these because this is what I'm going to color code these things for myself. Okay, I'm going to do like gold lines, golden lines, lines that I want to draw out. And I'm just very thankful to the Holy Spirit that when I was doing a session today and I needed a line, and I prayed while I was looking, I was going, where's the line? Where's the line? And I fell to this beautiful line. And I know I would never, be able to probably hit this exact line in the book when I'm going real time, but I already know what the line is. So now I can go back into my Word document and search for these golden lines. And it was about the grandfather. So I would tell you, mark yourself some really golden lines in case you get an opportunity to showcase a part of the book with somebody, or do a reading, or give a strategy about doing one-line poetry. That's what I was talking about, and it just happened to work out. But always go prepared for the places for the readings. So like, for example, with Sweet Potato Jones, I already know what I would read. I know it clear as day. I would read the scene that she's having a memory in chapter 1, because that is my memory of my dad and me sitting on the porch looking at a burned down mill. And so definitely I need that to be a part of any book reading that I do, because I am so nostalgic. Guys, you just do not know how sentimental I am. You're about to find out. If you didn't know already. So mark places in your books. So that's a tip for me. I have a month to go. My next signing is the end of August. I'm having one a month. That's when I could fit into my busy life schedule. And I'm going to have marks for it for the next signing because you never know. Okay, the next thing that you need. Okay, I got my bag here. Okay, you guys are going to laugh at me over this junk. Okay, so I'm using PayPal. I messaged them. It was hilarious because it's like, how do you like it so far? How would you rate your transactions so far? And I'm like, it's not swiping. I'm having to manually put it in. No, look, the reason why is because I was putting my chip card in wrong. And there's a picture diagram. But I was so excited. Like, I was so happy that people were at the table. I was talking and you give me a card. And I'm just like, it's not working. I'm just going to manually do it. And then I get charged an extra fee because I'm the weirdo holding the machine. So I had financial assistants with me today, but they weren't picking it up. They wanted me to do it, apparently, because they were on their phones. So I was goofing up on this thing. So I will say practice it. Make yourself a visual guide because they had a visual guide in here and I still didn't follow it. So I look like a ridiculous person trying to take information from people. Okay, another thing that I want to encourage you to take, and this, of course, as you can see, matches perfectly with my book. That was a gift that I was given when I did an author panel, and I love it because you can see here, look. We have Mary Shelley here. So take this with you because then you'll be able to capture email addresses. So you can turn into a couple of pages and you can get down and you can just keep this running record with you if you want to. And you can have this book with you and you can start an email list. Now here's what I did. Okay. So I had this at the end of the table. So if you sign up for my author newsletter today, then there's a cross necklace giveaway. And here's my cross necklace. And I waited till the end of the day. And then I've already emailed Stacy one. So I already emailed her. So I want to show you the necklace that she's going to get in the mail. So that was my giveaway this time. And these are the necklaces. These come from the necklaces that I make. So I make these. And then I have this already for my jewelry from Etsy. So I purchased this, of course. I did not make that. I am not that talented. But that is my giveaway for this time. I'm going to keep my eye out for pretty trinkets, anything that would be book related. And I'm going to get myself, a collection of these. So when I do go out to these events, I can have one and it goes right by the book and people will be able to sign in. So and then put a pin there. People will reach in for my Sharpies to write and just get a pin. Now I did purchase Sharpies that do not bleed through. I got those at Walgreens. I paid $8 for 4 because I wanted the red Sharpie and I wanted the black. And so you can see why I wanted the red and the black, and I was pulling between the two when I was signing. But I will tell you that I'm going to get like purple for Sweet Potato Jones. I'm going to get the pink for my boyfriend's back. So I'm going to have different color Sharpies, but I only found those 4 and I stuck with that. Okay, so I'm bending down because I have all my mess down here. Okay, oh, let me show you this. Okay, just didn't have enough room to table here. So Walgreens, okay, Walgreens photo, I had a coupon. Okay, I got my bookmarks. So it has a Bible verse on the back. This is the guiding Bible verse for the book, Matthew 13:30. It has down at the bottom, it has my email address, and it has the book cover. Okay, so I had these out and I had them in a little Easter basket. It honestly was like a plastic Easter basket thing from Dollar Tree. But the reason why I took it is because it brought out this yellow here and I thought it looked fine. It matched. It brought out that color. So I had them all sprawled out so where you could see the crosses on, and then you could see, so it was kind of like in a fan in this little basket. Hey, baby. Oh, take personal assistance with you. It was so nice to have my encourager over here. So throughout the day, when you have lulls in the day, instead of just sitting there looking like a frog on a log, it's really nice to share these experiences with someone else. And he took a picture for me today, his phone. He was so nice and he was so helpful. They helped me carry everything in. They helped me load everything back up. I couldn't have carried all that stuff. I had to make trips. But they were just so positive. And that helped me during those kind of really like lull, slow times. It just brought me great joy to have my kids with me. So I will say, if you can have an assistant, think about an assistant. It makes it fun. We had a great time. So I told you about the bookmarks. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what else to take, because I didn't use it, but I'm still taking it forever. Okay. So this big old strip. I'm going to tell you why you need this, because you might get to a place where the outlet is just like right there. You can see it. And if you would have just thought of one of these, then it would have worked out for you. However, the outlets around me did not work. So the outlets were no good. So I brought this in vain, but I did have it in case sheer luck would have it that I would need it. Or I could be nice and offer it to someone to borrow. Now I will say, I took 2 computers, and I love that I did that. So if you have 2 laptops, even if it's an old laptop, okay, take them. So I took an old laptop and a newer laptop. And the reason why I did it is because I didn't know if I was going to be near a plug or not. And I wanted to make sure that at the table, I had a scroll. So after talking with my media specialist, and we came up with ideas about doing author tours, she suggested I make QR codes of my website. Well, I thought better. Like, okay, instead of just send them to the website and then they get in there and they might not want to click through everything, I'll just send them to the Barnes & Noble page. So I made QR codes. I made a Canva poster. I had it up there. It had the price of the book. But when I got there and we set everything up on the table, I didn't have enough room to put my computer up there for it to look right. And the boys suggested, nah, don't do that. Don't put it up there. Well, I'm glad I took 2 because we needed it for charging of our phones. So I will tell you that this cord was in one, the boys' cord was in the other. You need to make sure that if you've got a portable charger, to take a portable charger with you, because when you're running, for example, a swipe, and you're using all that battery, I got down low. Well, then you've got to have directions. You got to have a GPS when things are over with, so you can go feed your family. So I will say that it is very important to carry your charger, but to carry a portable, which I had a portable and I left it at home. So this is my reminder to myself, but also bring plugins as well. So 2 computers worked. And I want to tell you another reason why. So I didn't quite know how the format of this was going to be. First time I've had a book signing, first time I've ever been to this event. So in the middle of the day, I realized that I could pitch and hold a session, and I could lead a session. So I'm like, oh, I got it. And I pulled up my work, Google, and I was able to find a PowerPoint that I've already used with my class. So it was an actual running Google Doc slide. It's a running Google slide. And it was all about literacy because that's what I teach. And it was perfect for the time. So I was like, okay, I just had to tweak some things. I had to add my author slide in there. I had to add my book covers in there. How to contact me, those kind of things. So I learned my lesson. So what I'm going to do when I get some free time, I don't know when that is, but when I get some free time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a base slide set. And I am very passionate about talking about certain topics in literacy. I could talk about books all day long. Okay, I can talk about authentic writing experiences. I can talk about reluctant readers, building positive relationships with students, forming reader identities and writer identities. I can talk about all that all day long. So I'm going to make PowerPoints up that way, if let's say I'm talking to teachers and they say, well, we'd like for you to come to our school, do you have something you could do? And I'm like, well, I have this wheel of PowerPoints of these choices that I would love to talk with you about. Or I would just Skype with your class and talk with them about the power of reading and try to challenge them and encourage them. And so doing a challenge one too, just as like an author challenge one to connect with the readers, I'm going to make that up too, along with a video. So just in case I cannot meet with a class, for example, it's not at the right time or something, I will have a video already made in my pocket. And I'll be able to, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that at this day, but I have a video that I would love to share. And then your students can ask questions and they can email me. So definitely going to invest some time into building those. And I'm going to keep them on my Google Docs because I was able to pull up my agendas and all of my PowerPoints, my Google Slides. I don't use PowerPoint anymore. My Google Slides from my work email. So that way I would be able to share with the teachers the way that I engage and hook in reluctant readers. So that worked out perfect. And I had 2 computers, which meant if one was going to die halfway in the day because I had no access to plugs, then I could always pull up that other one and I could be good to go. Okay, so that is something that I want to encourage you to try to think about doing if you can. Okay, so I'm going to grab my bag. Definitely, you need to take snacks, waters. I need so much caffeine at this place. I got to this point in the middle of the event. I was so tired. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should have brought like some protein bars. So I learned my lesson on that. So when you're doing book signing events and you're talking from 7:15 in the morning and you're working till 6 o'clock and you're only going to have to like go run really fast breaks and things like that. That's why it's also good to have personal assistants with you, like children that can drive, because my kids went out and got me Chick-fil-A. I mean, how good is that? And they brought me back a gigantic tea. Then they went out, they got me coffee. So I am very blessed that I have a wonderful family that supported me today from this. But I only took 1 Mountain Dew. And I did that because I limit myself to Mountain Dew. On book event days, I'm never going to limit myself to Mountain Dew. That's why I'm drinking one and it's 9 o'clock at night, which I can pay for later. So I am telling you now, make sure that you take what you need to survive that long of a day. Joke me all you want, but I actually took my lotion with me because just bathroom soap, don't like that. I also took a bunch of sticky notes, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so let's say people are coming up and they are asking you to sign a book. And I was watching other authors do this too. And they're saying, oh, so, your name is Crystal. How do you spell that? And they're like, Crystal with a K. Well, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. For my brain to work, because I get excited when I get to meet people and I'm nervous anyway, I wrote their name on a sticky. And because they bought a book from me, I wrote their name on the sticky, so that way when they called it out, I wrote it. Then I folded the sticky up, and then I already had it ready for signing up for my newsletter. Because they bought a book, I threw it in here too. And I was like, oh, I put your name in here. Go ahead and sign up for my newsletter. And they went over and they signed up. So the sticky helped me just write it down. So that way that when they're calling it out, like if you try to call a string of numbers out to me, forget it. And I was just nervous. So maybe I just overthink things, but I carried just regular sticky notes with me and I threw it in. And then my baby, Sam, he pulled the name at the end of the day. And that person had written their email address inside of my book. And I see that I've got a couple of people I had just entered. So I took this book that was up with my pens, asking them to sign up for my newsletter and they could receive this cross necklace. So I already had it up there so they could see it. And then I emailed them and said, okay, you won. Sam pulled your name. And send me your address. And by Saturday, I will have it in the mail. So I'll have to wait till Saturday to run to the store. Okay, so that's everything. So you see my bag. I had a food pun bag that I grabbed. I'm going to invest in getting some bags from Shutterfly or from Vistaprint, somewhere that actually has my book covers on them. And sometimes when you're at Food Line, you can get those little freebie things, those free giveaway tags, coupons. You save those things. So something that I really liked as far as swag. So I was at the book event, so I want to show you this as a model. So I think we need to invest time in making stuff like this. You see this in Educator's Guide, and you see what it's like. I'm like, okay, they gave these away for free. So this one is for the night diary, but they were giving these out at tables, not at the author's table, but just like as like a swag table all together. And I picked up every educator's guide. One, I'm a teacher, so I'm going to love this stuff. But two, I can also use these as models. I can also share these with other teachers in my school. So even if I was not going to read this book, then I could still pass things along and help support authors. So I grabbed bookmarks, I grabbed their education guides, and then I have also these samples. So I've got a ton of those. Well, then I did kind of have a book bag with me. I'm going to say, out of all the bags that I took 2 bags, and then I took a computer bag that had both the computers in it. I still needed another bag because then I got freebies and I got stuff and I won a book. And I'm like, where am I putting all this stuff? I just stuffed everything in. It was kind of like about to fall out. So I'm going to carry another book bag with me just to be sure. Okay, so I want to talk about my sentimental self and what I had up on my table. And if you go to Twitter or Instagram and you find me at Jen Lowry Writes, because I'm pretty much everywhere with that name, I can try to show you, but I'm the worst camera person ever. So you can just go look at the picture that Sam took, my little baby took. So here's my table. So you can see I double layered tablecloths. Well, trust me, that tablecloth was all the way down, the white one, until we took our first picture. It was very good that I took the picture because I'm building the table from the back and then I go around and we snapped a picture of it just kind of there. I took it back around and I showed the boys and I was like, oh my gosh, I ironed this stuff. It looks terrible. And they're like, take it off anyway. There's not anybody else that's really doing this. And I'm like, no, I want my tablecloths. I really want them. And I'll tell you why, because you're going to think I'm just so sentimental, but I really wanted them there. So then I had to kind of like rig it up without, I lost the picture, but you could go look. I kind of like swooped it, if that's the word. Okay, so the first reason why I wanted a tablecloth, I wanted this tablecloth because it's got my kids' paint on it when they were little. And it didn't wash off. And so it's just like reminding that my children were once so tiny and little, and look how much progress we've made together. And I just love it. It's got like paint stains. I know that's crazy, and you can't see them because you turn it the other way. It's a really thick tablecloth, but I know they're there. Okay, another reason why I wanted the white tablecloth is because my mom, she hand glittered these. And I don't know if you guys remember. Okay, so I'm 44, so I'm telling my age. But do y'all remember with the puff paint back in the 80s? So like my mom puff painted that with glitter. And I love this so much. She took so much time and care into this. Okay, so I'm gonna get some milk. But it was like it was on the table. It was like she was holding my books. Okay. So I know she's proud of me in heaven. So anyway, so I carried this tablecloth. So I will say that there were 24 authors. There were 28 authors scheduled to be there. There was 24 of us that went. Out of all the authors, and I kept looking, seeing how they set everything up. There were 2 of us that had tablecloths and actually kind of set up the tables. But I really liked mine. As simple as it looked, I really like blended out at home. Like I had these flicker candles because it's like teenage exorcist horror kind of stuff. I had these little candles out, and I had my angels, I had my red bird, I had all these different things, and then I didn't put them up on the table because I didn't have room. But I carried all of these little whatnots because people have given me these things. So like my best friend gave me the angel. It has a really great verse on it. I took my favorite go-to Bible verse for myself. This is the day that the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And I took a red bird that my mom gave me, and it matched with the red. So here I am, having in my mind a bigger table. Well, the tables were thin. They were long, but they were thin. That's why I also want to encourage you to carry 2 tablecloths with you in case you have to double layer. You will not know what kind of table you have. So I would suggest that you do that just to cover yourself, cover your table. Because there's one thing, seeing all these boxes under the table, all my boxes, everything was underneath, and it was covered. Nobody could see all my junk, and I had it just all pushed up under there. Okay, but it was out of sight. So I will suggest that you do that. Okay, so I want to show. Let me go through my bag. It's like I have like this gigantic bag down here that I was given at another teacher conference. So this one is featuring. Okay, so let me show you what I brought. So my sister-in-law, she made me this, and she had a friend that had like one of those Cricut machines, and she had a candle in it. Well, I took the candle out of this one, and I put this candle she gave me in another candle holder, and it's trees. And this book is set in Asheville, North Carolina, and there's a scene in there where they do a paranormal. They have a paranormal event in the trees, so in the pines, in the forest, in the trees. But you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm tired. I need more Mountain Dew. So I use that candle holder for that. But then I use these for my pens, and it worked perfect. So if you've got somebody with a Cricut, I suggest that you could do little things like that. You could get your logos and things on there. I will also tell you that these Sharpie pens, absolutely amazing, and they are no bleed through, so they don't go through the pages. So I really like these. And my red one fell out in the bag, but I used red and black today. I alternated colors, and then I want to get other colors to go in my book, the book ones. Okay, so let's see what else I have. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's what I used. See that yellow and how that yellow went with that? I mean, it's like an Easter basket, but I liked it. And it worked perfect for my bookmarks, which definitely going to take from now on. And let's see, did not use a bunch of this stuff. I had a bunch of decorations, and I didn't use them. So I think, and then I was worried because I am not like a dressy person, and I am not one that has a bunch of choices in my closet. So if I was looking at this, I was like, okay, so I carried a plain red shirt. And I was like, what would look good with everything? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not all about that anyway. I want to be comfortable. It's going to be a long day. But one of my friends, she really suggested that I dress up. And I was like, I don't dress up. Like I'm in pajamas right now. As soon as I get home from school, I'm in pajamas. So if I could wear pajamas to author events, let's do one of those. Like, who's with me? Like, let's have that. Let's have a book event in pajamas, and we could do read alouds. That would be so much fun. We could bring blankets and quilts. Like, that would just be a dream of mine. Maybe for my children's books, I'll be able to do something like that. But I bought an author shirt off of Amazon, and it says, I am always writing stories in my head. And I loved it because it has the purple, and it has the pink from another book, purple from another book, and it has the gold. And so I will say that's kind of gold. So it kind of matched my book covers a little bit, but I like that author shirt. It's my first ever author shirt. So me and my sentimental self, I wanted an author shirt that I was going to be able to wear to my first event. And it's just going to like brand and attach that memory to that shirt. And then I want to collect author shirts because I'm so introverted, and it's hard for me to like bring up, oh yeah, I'm an author. It's just still like so surreal to me. I think that if I'm walking around with an author shirt on, maybe that can help spark some conversation, and somebody might say it. So I will say that I like my little author shirt. I got it off of Amazon. I paid $10 for it. Hopefully it's going to stay around for a long time and not shrink up and wash. But I liked it. And I was so comfortable. And I wore my Converses, and I was good to go. And there were people there, and they were dressed up. And then there were people that were not dressed up. And I was fitting right in, and it did not matter. And I was getting to talk about my passion, writing, kids, and then I was going to talk about my book. So the thing about when people were coming up to the table, especially early on in the day, it was the first time I've ever really had a chance, other than you guys on YouTube and all of my sweethearts that follow with me on the Jen Lowry Writes podcast. I could not tell you enough how much I love all you guys over on the podcast, because I get to talk with you guys every single day, and that really helps me. But it's a lot different when I'm having somebody standing right there and they pick up my book and they go, oh, and they look on the back and I can see that they might have read the first line. They go, oh, what's this about? And because they want to hear me talk about it. So I'm like, oh, it's a YA horror, it's clean fiction, and then I start talking about the book. And I just could feel every time I talked about it, because I'm so happy with this book. I love this story so much. I could just feel the joy just rising up. And I just knew I was in the right place. I know that this life is for me. And I just got to continue to work hard, strive for goals, continue to push forward, continue to make connections. Oh, and speaking of making those connections, take business cards with you. Okay, so I was like back and forth on this. So I didn't take any with me. Well, luckily, I always carry a small stack of them. I say small, a small stack of them in my pocketbook, because you never know who you're going to run into. Now, I learned this from my friend Jen at work. She has one of them old Rolodex things. And then she has a bag, a Ziploc bag filled of business cards. And they were the one that gave me a coupon for Vistaprint. That's how much they make their business cards themselves. So I ordered off of Vistaprint, and I have my business cards. Now, my business cards have my author information on it. They do not have my public school information. They have my Gmail that I use for Jen Lowry Writes, and they also have the website, and that I can be a speaker. I'm having some flashes here, and it is like storming, and it is like I am right here. I keep seeing the flashes. So yeah, it's almost like it's all around. Sorry, guys, I got distracted. So carry business cards with you, because then I was able to hand to the educators and say, hey, contact me. If I have a teacher work day, or if I'm off and you guys are on, let's talk, because calendars are so different. And that's what I love about like year-round schools, private schools. I got contacts with Christian schools today. Like if you are on a different schedule, then you can help coordinate events with them, or you can look at doing night events at their PTOs, at their parent nights, at their open houses. So you don't even have to do things during the day. And that's what's helpful for us, with us that, all of us authors out there, if you have a full-time job, you still have opportunities to get into schools in the evenings. So don't count that out, okay? Even if it's at sporting events, like you never know what opportunities, especially if you're like a sports writer. I can just think of all kinds of different things, that different ways that you can coordinate with people. And so having your business cards with you, I'm encouraging you to get some, carry them with you. And I should have carried more, so I regret that. And so I will not make that mistake again. And I'm going to get a business card snap holder from like Michael's or somewhere. I like to use Michael's because we get a teacher discount. But I've got to get something to hold these things in, because I just kind of had stuffed them in my wallet. So now I've got to replace those. And then I want a holder that I'm going to be able to carry with me into my author bag that I have, or my bags that I have. So that would probably be something small I could stick in the book bag. All right, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I had that I wish I would have had. Just 2 computers saved the day today. And then check your books. So I talked about this at the beginning, where one of the books was damaged. So I knew this one was damaged, but then I found out that another book had this crazy paper in the front. It was the weirdest thing. I was like, fold it up, took a picture of it, went ahead and sent it to Ingram Spark to go ahead and get an order replacement on the damaged books that I had. But just make sure that you have your own reader copy with you, and go ahead and mark that. mark places. And so the gold is going to represent like golden lines that I would just want to draw attention to specific lines and parts of the book. If I'm talking about writing poetry from a line in the book of mentor text or something like that, to where even if, they could pitch this book for SSR, like if they didn't want to buy this book for a class set, they didn't have the money for a class set, but they wanted just to have one on their shelf, what are some ways too that they could help kids get hooked into that and using it as one-line poetry. I did that with Fahrenheit 451 this year, and a student connected so strongly with the one-line poetry assignment that she identified herself as a writer after that poetry piece. So I'm going to be doing things like that forever. And so I shared that strategy with the teachers today, and I used my book as a model. And I was saying earlier how wonderful it was to when I was just like randomly flipping. Then I got a spot about the grandfather, and it was like, oh, yeah, that could be a wonderful poem line. And so they would have to use that as the first line of the poem. So thanks again to my personal assistants who went with me, who just kind of ran through. Do you have any things you want to say? No? Oh, he's out. But it was lovely having my family there support me and taking pictures. And so I got documentation. So I didn't have my husband's fancy camera, but I did have my phone. And then my son is like, Mama, my phone takes better pictures than yours. And so he was snapping pictures today and sending them to me. And I think that that is awesome that we get to find out what hashtags people are using. So that's another tip. Learning those hashtags, going ahead and pre-building up some like hashtags that you want to use, and you can just quickly like tweet things out. And so what I was doing is I was trying to document my experiences and then utilizing that time to go onto Instagram that hooked into my Facebook and then Twitter. And so I was kind of keeping that going. What I was really doing was documenting it for us and for our family so we could see our very first book event that we were a part of. And I'm going to have the Everyday Author Challenge that's going to be coming out in December. And so it's going to have a lot of those pictures in there too. So I'm preparing that Bible devotional now. So I'm taking pictures of everything. I don't know which ones I'll use, but I have bunches of them. And now I've got a bunch on my baby's home. So I will say document everything. I did not put any kind of pictures up that had people without their permission. I didn't do that. I just took pictures of like me and the kids, the table, the schedule, the people's bags. Like you couldn't identify who people were. So I made sure that I did all of that kind of stuff too. I think that's kind of like the public school and teacher in me, where I just made sure that I took like bunches of pictures that I would be able to use in the future. So I think that's it, guys. Do you guys have anything? Like, have you done book signings? Do you have any words of wisdom for our next time? Because I got another one coming up in exactly a month. So I wanted to get on here and document all these things because I know I did not bring my journal with me. I could do things like this in my phone. I'm going to do it tomorrow, but I didn't bring my journal where I can make a list. I'm like, I'm just going to get on here and do my YouTube video, share all of this out, and then I can just fast forward through and say, oh, that's what I'm holding up. That's what I forgot to bring. And I'm going to keep my bags packed. All my author bags are going to stay packed. That way I don't have to worry about taking things out. There's nothing in here I need. And I'm going to carry everything with me again next month at our next tour stop. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me on Jen Lowry Writes. If you have not subscribed yet, I would love for you to do so, where I am sharing my author journey with me and my family as we are now starting what at first I was calling my fall tour, and then I got these summer opportunities. So now all my people that are on the Jen Lowry Writes podcast, we've been building this. They've been sticking with me since we started planning these events early spring, and now here we are and they're taking place. And I want to thank the person who gave me the Starbucks gift card, because they gave me a gift card. It was hilarious because as soon as we hit the road, I'm telling you guys, it was like within an hour on our trip. My kids were like, "Oh, there's a Starbucks." And so that card helped get us coffee on the trip on the way. So thank you for that donation. We love that because we would not have been able to like do these little extra things without you guys supporting us. So we just want to thank you for that. And I will check you guys later. All right, bye.